I'm gonna share a very, very easy recipe. It's great for a potluck, but it's also really great if you're just in a hurry and you wanna have something healthy and delicious. And it's a no cook. What could be better? Especially when it's hot as balls here in Texas. Come on. Up, Frankie. Good boy. Good girl. Good kids. Good kids. For this recipe, we're gonna use tofu. I'm gonna use this extra firm. You know this is super firm because it's wrapped in the cellophane pack. It's not packed in water. So there's very little water that will come out of it if I squeeze it. I'm gonna slice these somewhat the same size. So I'm just gonna cut these into cubes. Trying to keep the consistency. At the end of this, if you stick around, I will answer a bunch of questions, but I want to get the recipe out for people who are just watching it for the recipe. Spicy chili crisp. I think it's the best one on the market. It's not too expensive. Almost every grocery store sells it. Forgive my pronunciation, but Lao Gan Ma. And it's super delicious. It's one of my favorite condiments. And so with that one big block of tofu, that was 450 grams, I'm gonna add one big, I only have two, so like two tablespoons. It's a good amount. Take a little bit of sesame oil for measurement's sake. 2 tablespoons. And then I'm just gonna stir this carefully. I don't wanna break the tofu too much. It looks great. While this is sitting, it's gonna be marinating while I make the rest. Next up, cucumber. And for this, I'm just cut it in half. I'm gonna cut it into half again. So I want it similar size to the tofu. So I'm gonna cut this into thirds. 1, turn it. 2, yeah. And then I just do all these like that. For me, this is the best way I can do it to stay organized. So. And this is a very easy recipe. No cook for when it's hot out. Then I'll take 2 of these at a time and dice them. Same size as the tofu, not too big, just stay consistent. Quick wipe. Next up, some green onions, scallions. I'll just take the little ends off here. Oftentimes I'll cut off the ends if they're super wilty. And then I'm just gonna dice. And here's a good example of how to hold a knife when you're dicing fast. My suggestion is just don't dice fast. Don't cut fast if you don't know what you're doing. That's when mistakes are made. Like, just go slow. I didn't start off fast. Everything was slow. I just methodically focused my mind, paid attention, because if you get distracted, that's when I screw up. Watching what you're doing. So I move my fingers back, move the veg forward. And that, beautiful like that. But I am actually gonna cut them even further. I just put them all into a really fine mesh strainer. Run this under some cold water. This will help them stay super fresh, but also get any dirt away. And I'll just let that sit and dry until I need it. Next, I had to go and buy basil and mint. I do not have a garden yet. I'm supposed to be on the road, so I didn't get that set up yet. So I buy them in these so they stay a little bit longer. This is optional. If you don't have it, the recipe's still delicious. Gonna take a little bit of the basil, take some of the mint. This is a Thai basil. I do like the Thai basil a little bit better. I just like the flavor of it. Mint is always just delicious. It just tastes like freshness to me. So it's super fresh salad. I'm just gonna pull some of these leaves off. And I like how they've been selling them like this because they last a lot longer with the covers. Then I'll take this, all the leaves, try to roll them up into a ball. Or roll them up, break them up. It's okay if you smush them because that's just gonna release the flavors more. But as soon as I can get it where I can grip it, then I'm just shifting on. Somebody had asked, why do I do that all the time? I just have these habits and patterns. I've been working in kitchens since I was 15 years old. I am 55. Yeah, I'm old. And so that is a long time. Right now I can't do the math in my head because I'm on camera. But I'm taking these herbs and sprinkling them right on here. So my habits from catering, I owned a catering company, one of the best ones on the seacoast, up in New England for 15 years. And my motto in my head and people that worked with me, we always went into houses and cooked, and we left it cleaner than we found it. It was just part of the job. It was part of our what do you call that? Why am I so forgetting everything? It was just part of what I did. I always wanted to leave the house cleaner, and so that I got super into the habit of cleaning kitchens, and I have been in thousands of kitchens. When you're cooking in front of people and people are watching you, and you start developing your own techniques, I tap it one to get the stuff off the blade when I'm cooking. It gets some stuff off the blade. But for me more, it's like, all right, focus. It's a focus point. Tap to the knuckle, and I start chopping. Always. Or I finish. It's just a habit. You see sushi chefs, they all have habit. They might touch something, this, that, it's just habits. When you do something for hundreds of thousands of hours, things become a habit. Some people are annoyed by them. Some people like them. I like them. I don't think I'm gonna change that one. Green onion, and I just stir that in. It's delicious. And the longer it sits, the more it's gonna taste good. I'm gonna try this right here. It's so good. I'll eat this whole bowl. It's delicious. And you could serve it so many different ways. For the people asking me why I use plastic, I get that there's a lot of bad plastic out there. Single-use plastic sucks. Not glass, it's not gonna break. It's what I'm used to working in a kitchen. It's reusable. It's very easy for me to hand it to somebody and as a takeaway cup and take it home. They can take it home. There's different sizes. I don't see it as a problem. I see it as a solution. Easily storable in the refrigerator, seals tightly, it freezes, it microwaves, you can wash them, reuse them. They're amazing. And I'm not gonna stop using them. So all the purists out there, if you want glass, go ahead and use glass. You don't have to follow me if you don't like it because I use these. When I'm storing and cooking food and doing mise en place, I'm using this. This is what chefs use, and I know chefs and cooks who actually cook will understand. There's one more thing I'm gonna add to it as a garnish, but I'm not gonna need this much, so I'm gonna save this for later. Say I'm at a dinner party, or I'm going to a dinner party, or bringing this as a potluck, I'm just gonna take this and shave some lettuce, romaine. Saving this for later. Do you need to go out? Come on. You wanna get him? Go get him. Go get him. Get him, go get him. Make a nice little bed of this lettuce here. Could add a little bit of oil. You could add a little bit of salad dressing if you want. I won't, because this is how I'm gonna do it. This is how I would serve it. Just on this bed of lettuce. Onions, or crispy shallots. Super delicious. I freaking love this salad. And the only reason why I haven't showed it earlier is because it's so easy. I just ripped the garnish right up into it. Yes, you could add salt. You could add more pepper. If you add salt, the cucumbers will bleed. I feel like they'll just leach out water. And there's quite a bit of salt in that chili crunch, but it's such a good, cool summertime accompaniment, potluck, full dinner. Onions on top. That chili spicy crunch is not that spicy. Like I would rate it as a very, 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 very mild. Of course, if you're like one of those people who thinks black pepper is hot, then it's not, probably. I hope you make it. I'm gonna stuff my face a little bit, and then we'll get into some question and answers. I appreciate you sticking around for the recipe. And for those of you interested, here we go. What an interesting world we live in. Hey, I got a whole bunch of questions in from the Q&A I posed on the community feed. Thank you so much to everybody that had submitted a question. There was almost 400 questions, a lot to go through. So one of the questions, I put all the questions on my phone. Unfortunately, I'm sorry if I am looking at my phone. I am not trying to be rude. I am just gonna read the questions from this, but I will try to tackle some of these questions. Take 2 on this camera. Can you show us how to hone a knife properly? So honing a knife properly would just, to me, I call it just putting a quick edge on it, and it's what I do before I start cooking anything, especially if I'm gonna be slicing anything that I think is gonna be a little bit more difficult to slice, like tomatoes are more difficult because they have that skin it needs to go through, and a lot of dull knives will bounce off that skin. Tofu is very easy. You could cut tofu with a dull knife, but how I do it, it's all a matter of practice. How I first learned and how a lot of butchers do it is having the steel, just holding the steel like this and sliding it down. And just going slowly, keeping the blade against the steel. As you get a little bit better, you know, you can hold it like this and just go slow. Everything is slow. And the only reason why I go fast is because I've done it for so long. And then just wipe off the edge. That's it, basically. It's that easy. So if you have one of these, usually it comes with every knife kit you bought if you get a knife set. The ergonomics of this or the technicalities of this. And remember, I'm not like, I don't design these things. I just use them. And I know what I know just from experience, not because I studied it. This is also a magnet, so it draws the knife in, and that's why it pulls the fibers of the blade. And so if you imagine all the fibers going one direction, pulls them this direction. And that's what makes the sharp edge. That's it, super easy. It's just nice, most chefs have it on the side in case they need a quick edge, but it's not the knife sharpener, it's just a honing. At some point I'll do the more sharpening stuff. And cleaning up, so important, because if you don't know how to cook well, you sure as heck know how to clean. Everybody knows how to clean. It's just a matter of being diligent about it. Always clean up. You got time to lean, you got time to clean. Clean an organized area, clean an organized mind. For me, that's how it works. If it's disheveled and chaotic, I'm not thinking correctly. I always have to be like super organized when I work. It's just a non-negotiable for me. All right, kids, come on, sit. Come on, Frankie, come. Sit. Good girl. Here you go. Kiss. Good girl. Gary, good boy. Frankie, good girl. Good kid. Oh, good. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I gotta clean my glasses. Okay. I wash my hands. Touch my dogs. I wash my hands. It's called editing for those clowns who give me a hard time for kissing my dogs, as in these comments right here. I wash the vegetables, but I kiss my dogs. What do you care? It's a video. It's a video. I'm in my house. You're not in my house. I'm not feeding you. I don't think I would have you in my house and feed you if you said that kind of crap. You certainly wouldn't be welcome. 99.8% of you guys are freaking amazing, and I would love to have you over and feed you with the dogs. But if you don't like dogs, don't watch my channel. Just don't. You don't like animals? Go find somebody else to watch. All right, I'll bring in the big guns, my computer for this one, just so I can see better. I'm not a big fan of using the phone all the time. I'm just gonna go down some that I can answer, some I can't answer yet. Could you do a full knife tour? Yes, I will do a full knife tour soon. The knives that I use that I really like now, I'm waiting for my friend to get everything sorted for his business, and then I'll be supporting that. And I'll share that when it comes because they're amazing. I love them. How do I chop so fast? I really love the fact that I know how to do a skill, and that skill came with years and years of constant practice. I used to work at, it's called the Schwindy Hut up on Waterville Valley, up on the top of the mountain in the early 90s. All I did was make soups and sandwiches for the skiers. I got to ski every day. I skied for like over 100 days for each year that I worked, and that was part of the perks having a ski pass. I used to have to make onion soup almost every day because we would sell out of so many soups and we would just be making soups, so it was really good practice for me to make soups back then. And we used to have to cut 50 pounds of onions at a time, and me and the guy that I was working with, Jim, we used to blindfold each other and have all the onions laid out and cut, because that would really make me not screw up and have that. Like, I just did crazy things as far as testing and pushing boundaries. As far as how you get to cut fast, just the more you do anything, the better you're gonna get. And I just will always say that. And knowing from experience now, it just start off slow. And that slowness picks up speed. And slowly you're just going fast. Like, that's the norm. That's my best answer, is just keep practicing. And then how do you cut without chopping your fingers off? Do it the proper way. Train your hand to sit in the claw position, not angled. Do not do it angled, because if you cannot cut yourself if it's right like this. If your hand is like this, sideways, the blade has a chance to go off your fingers. And I have plenty of scars. Knock on wood, I haven't cut myself in the last decade, because it just clicked in. And whenever I do cut myself, it's always from either holding a knife over there or leaving it, forgetting where it is, and me wiping or something, and then just nicking myself on the blade because I wasn't paying attention and I was distracted. A lot of all the mind things of mindfulness is really helpful when you're in the kitchen, because there's a lot of dangerous stuff in the kitchen. Fire, pans that can fall on your toes, oil that can splatter, knives that can cut you. It's just a matter of being mindful. I get this one asked a lot, is how can I teach clicking the tongs? I honestly do not know how to teach that. Like, for me, it's just a habit, and it drives some people crazy. It would drive some people crazy when I worked in the restaurant doing it, because it's just annoying, loud noise. It's just because I always held a towel in one hand, tongs in the other, and it was just part of my hand, like touching and grabbing hot things, moving things. And then just standing on the line, working 12, 14 hours a day, having these in your hand, I just started playing. There's no trick to it. I get the ones that don't have that little lever, and I buy these at catering stores or like restaurant supply stores or professional stores, because I don't want the thing that keeps them together, and you don't want the rubber tips. All right, over at my messy desk. What inspired you to move back to the US? Do you miss anything about the UK? And what's the biggest adjustment since moving back? I was inspired to move back to the US because this is my home. I was born and raised here. I was born in Massachusetts, had my restaurants in the seacoast of New Hampshire, Maine. It's just a short 14-mile coastline from Massachusetts to through New Hampshire and Maine. And yeah, my whole family and friends. I do have friends now in the UK. I lived there for 8 years when I did my job at Tesco.
Hey guys, I'm Derek Sarno, and I've partnered with Tesco to create some amazing plant-based recipes.
And was leading their plant-based innovation and helping bring all the vegan food in. But I wanted to come back. I just needed a change. I know I went over there for a specific time frame, and then I extended that by 3 years. So I try to break up my life into chapters where I'll pick one thing and focus on it and give it my all for a certain amount of time, and usually it's a 5-year period. I did what I accomplished, what I set out to do, and now I am back to finish the last couple chapters I might have. And I wanted to be closer to my son, who lives in America, and all my friends and family. You know, going from the rainy season of England, which they have beautiful summers, but it did rain quite a bit, to move into Austin, Texas, where it's just hot a lot, and being stuck inside with AC all the time, and then also finding the lovely Gary. That's been an adjustment, having a second dog I wasn't planning on until he finds a home. I don't pay attention to too much media. Everything just wants to divide us, and I'm all about bringing people together over food and making connections. What's your dream or goal from 5 years from now? 5 years from now, my dream and goal. My goal and my mission that I've worked for the last 15 years is to benefit people, to be of benefit to people and myself, to practice my meditation, and to use the skills that I've learned to help teach other people to cook more plant-based, less animal products, less harm. I just want to continue doing that. I would love to learn more about this filming. I'm practicing, I'm learning. This jumps into another question where somebody had asked, who's behind the camera and how do I shoot my videos? Is it solo or with the crew? For the last 2 years, I have shot everything by myself. For the last 3 videos, close to around there, I've had a friend of mine who I used to work with hire a shoot. Amazing cinematographer. He's done some amazing stuff. We met about 15 years ago. working at Whole Foods together. He has been helping me dial in the lighting, helping me with the focusing. You see this camera's over here, helping me just set up in a more professional manner. Whether I find it easy or not, I don't know, because it's just more equipment. Like, I have stuff everywhere. Small tripods, big tripods. I just want to do a good job. And I want to represent the plant-based community and vegan, not only for myself, but for the animals. Like, the better I can come across, the better I can speak and convey my thought process and how I actually cook, I feel like the more people are gonna be influenced by it. My whole goal is just to benefit you. If you find no use for what I'm doing, don't stick around. If you do find a use, thank you. I'm happy to share whatever it is. I'm just really trying to learn how to communicate everything that I've bottled up inside and just done, because I can just do it faster than I could have somebody else do it. So I'm in this transition period where I'm learning how to get that out. I don't know how to describe that other than that. And I'm just, I have my own quirks and habits that I'm trying to work with and work around, and how, all that kind of thing. But my goal for the next, from the next 5 years is to just be more of a benefit, and to make it easier for people to understand and hopefully get something from it, because I feel like I am most happy when I am giving and contributing to a community and to the greater good. I want to save as many animals and people as I possibly can. That's my goal. I'm committed to doing this, but I need to make a living to pay my bills. I'm not sitting on a bunch of money. I don't have that. I just don't have it. So I need to continue to work. Will you bring back collaborations or guests? Yes. I would love to do more collaborations. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that, filming by myself. So that might be something I need help with. Starting to develop just a particular style that I want my videos to go by, and a flow. And I'm still playing. It's been 2 years, and if you go back and look at the videos when I first started doing this, I played with all kinds of format. I'm finally just settling into what I feel is most comfortable and what isn't boring, because I don't want to be boring. I don't find cooking boring at all. Would you ever do meet and greets? Yeah, I think I would. I get most anxious when I'm around people, so the more I stay in the house, I'm less anxious. But my anxiety levels go up when I get around people, because it's just not something I've ever wanted to do. I'm very introverted, so to me, this is an introverted thing to do. Even though I'm on camera, I'm talking to a camera. I'm not having to impress anybody in front of me, except for Gary and Frankie. Right, Gary? Come on. And this is it. I like being on my own, a couple people, good friends around, animals. Yeah, so I'm up for meet and greets. I just don't know how to go about doing that, because it seems weird for me to organize one on my own. It just seems very vain, egotistical. I don't want to be like that. If I could give everything away, I would give and not have to make any money, but I need to figure out ways that I can actually make money. Our YouTube pays you a little bit for watching the ads while you watch this. The super thanks really do help. I hope to create some more ebooks, maybe write another cookbook, build some workshops. I see all these other creators and how they're doing it, and I also see where I can fit in, because I have over 35 years experience in the kitchen, and I do not know a lot of other creators doing plant-based food that have that much experience. One of the questions is also, where did you learn how to cook? When I was young, I started off dishwashing, bussing tables, cooking in local restaurants around the seacoast area of New England. When I knew this is what I wanted to do, I got jobs working with chefs that had a good reputation and that I could learn from. And you learn really quickly when you're working that close with somebody, if you can work with them, and if they have value to add to you besides a paycheck. So for a long time in my 20s, I worked up to 3 jobs. I've worked at McDonald's just to see how their process went. I worked breakfast shift. I used to work at another breakfast place in Newburyport that I would do griddle cooking. So, all the eggs and the pancakes and everything on with all the stools, like old school. It's called fowls, short order cooking. I've worked for high-end places. I've worked for fine dining. I've worked for catering companies. This is all before I branched out and started opening my own. I worked in Jackson Hole at an Italian restaurant out there. I've worked on islands off the coast of Maine. I used to lobster fish for 2 years, two full seasons. Yeah, I've done a lot, all related to the food service industry. company, my first company I opened was called Mahalo's, or it was actually just my personal chef service called DS Creations, I named at the time. Before I took the leap of faith and just went on my own, I worked at a produce delivery store where I would go into restaurants, deliver their produce, I get to learn all about produce, how to store it, what was in season, and that was a great job. And then I got to deliver it to restaurants, and I got first hands walking into the back door of restaurants delivering. And I got to see who was doing what, who was reading from menus or recipe books. I just got to see who was faking it to make it and who had it. And that was important. That was probably one of the best things I'd ever done. If you have the time and you really want to invest in yourself and learn how to do things through different ways to get to where you're going, I highly suggest that. There's another easier one for me to answer. Do you ever make less chefy, low effort meals? I believe we just did in the beginning of this. I don't consider this chefy, packed with flavor and textures, but anybody can do this. I'll eat cereal when there's nothing else or I just crave it. I like simple things as much as the next person. I just also really, really enjoy driving flavor into anything that I can. I believe I'm worth it and I want to taste and eat delicious food, and I certainly believe that anybody I'm serving is worth that effort. What's one dish you're most proud of? I'd have to say the mushroom cooking techniques that I developed over a decade ago, making those lion's mane steaks, king oyster mushrooms, doing those, using the oyster mushrooms, just that pressing technique. If I could be proud of one technique, that would be the one, because I do believe it changes the landscape of how we look and cook with mushrooms. And I developed that because when I had first gone vegan, which will be coming up on 10 years, even though I've been cooking this way for 15 years, I didn't go vegan right away because of my job. I was the global chef for Whole Foods Market, and I was in charge of seafood, meat, prepared foods, grocery, all the stuff, and I could not be a vegan and hold that position because I needed to touch and see and tour everything. But that's also where it verified my feelings about killing animals. I just don't think we need to do it, and I just think it's a sham, and we don't need to do it. So my most proudest dish is how to prepare mushrooms and make them as the meatiest texture I know wows everybody. Whether you're a meat eater or not, it's an amazing technique to incorporate into your cooking and food. All right, so I'll get into some of these more serious questions. You guys, this is just my thought process. How do you stay kind when the world is angry? It's one of the practices I study, and it's just to arouse bodhicitta, or to really practice love, wisdom, and compassion. Having love and compassion, I have to practice that. I have to consciously sit and think that, because I can fall into the trap of listening to my own mind and habits of like being negative. I tend to be super sarcastic. I try to dampen it down on here so I can deliver the cooking skills, not my bad attitude. Being kind is productive, and it doesn't cost anything. And the kinder I can be, even if it doesn't deserve it, it's only a good thing. When I am not kind is when things go wrong. So I really just try to practice being kind. Whatever anybody else is doing out there, that's their thing. You can feed into it, especially with social media. You can let it drive you nuts, or you can just hold it at arm's length and know what it is, and that's what it is, and not let it affect you. Because what is important is right here, your heart, and how you reflect that back to people and give love and kindness and compassion. How do you refill your compassion when you feel empty? My recharge time is when I'm alone, when I'm sitting and meditating, when I'm reading and contemplating. For the last 10 years, I've read, I can count on my hand how many books I've read that haven't been related to Buddhism. I feel strongly about wanting to contribute and to learn, because it's all about my mind. I want to solve the one thing that solves them all. I don't want to treat the symptoms. I want to work on the source, and that is my mind. And if I can calm my mind, it's way more pliable, it's way more friendly, it's way more approachable. I don't need to just work on anger or doubt or this or that. I need to work on my mind and being aware of everything that's going through it, and seeing it for what it is really helps. And in order for me to see it and maintain that sight and let things come and go as they come and go, I need to sit and meditate and practice and study the teachings and contemplate these great gurus that have gone before us. And I'm not a teacher, I am a forever student. And I will always be a forever student, including with cooking. I might know quite a bit with cooking because I've really dug deep and honed into it, but I am a forever student, and there's so much more for me to learn and explore. And just finding that out like this past decade, and knowing that I have less years ahead of me than I do behind me. I do wish when I was younger, I just took it more seriously and didn't just work for the paycheck. I don't like hearing myself speak, so it's very, it's very therapeutic for me. Did therapy help you with grief, or was Buddhism the path? Buddhism is not therapy, but I did not go to therapy. You know, back in the day, if we get more personal, like I lost a lot more people like before Amanda. Amanda was just like the partner that was, you know, I was intimate with. And so it affected me so much more differently than when I lost my friend or other family members. And I tried to go to therapy. I wanted to. But back then, because I wasn't married at the time, we weren't married, I did not get to go. Like I was turned back from going to the widows and spouse one. Do I think that was right of them to not see me? No. Did it put me on the path that I am now? It helped. I had always been interested in Buddhism as a spiritual practice and for the meditation part. And so I just dove deep into that. And then, you know, I have plenty of these other videos you can see that are on the channel. I'll link them below that tell a little bit more about that journey. You just have to start. You have to sit down and breathe. Like anything else, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get. When I sat down and first started meditating, my mind went crazy. Like I just thought I was doing it wrong. It was just so many thoughts. And so you learn to focus on your breath, checking in with your body, scanning where you're feeling things. I'm not a meditation teacher. I'm still very much just learning how to do it, working on it. But there's so many more people. I will plug my friend. I'll put his link in the bottom. But he has a channel, and he talks a lot about meditation stuff. And then also the monastery that I go to. There's a lot of other ones out there to listen to. But I meditate with my eyes open. I focus on my breathing. I practice a thing that's called shamatha and vipassana, and letting them both go. But you need to focus on something first to increase your ability to focus and maintain that. And then when you can get to that point, then you let that go. And then the whole practice is about focusing on nothing. If that makes any sense at all. It makes sense in my mind, but that's where you can just watch your mind and see your feelings and emotions arise, and then it just helps me with my reaction time. And it also helps me reflect and contemplate how to be a better person in certain situations when I have that opportunity. And there are some amazing, like my teacher, Khenpo Sewang, he's amazing. And he's such a role model. And I'm the type of person who finds role models and I want to learn from them, mentoring. I work best one-on-one in a mentor situation. That's why I never really got into high school and community style learning. I just learned so much more from one person, and I will give them everything to learn. I so appreciate all these questions. I can't go answer like all of them because some of them are food and I want to show, so I'll try to incorporate these into some videos in the future. And I do have a big plan that I will start working on in the new series and working on single veg. And yeah, I see and hear everything that you guys are writing, and I appreciate you for supporting, for following, for liking, for sharing. Yeah, I'm super humbled and so honored to be a part of this community. Thank you very much, and we will see you. Anyways, I hope that's helpful, you guys. Next time, don't forget to check out these videos here that are coming up. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.